arrived because you're working toward a particular destination. Therefore, by way of the agenda for today, we'll be looking at how to orientate or take members through an orientation in order to retain them. And the way to retain a member is to give them value. And we've already had the welcome. We'll be talking about the theme and your goals. You'll be talking about the club meeting roles, the Toastmasters education program that is called Pathways. We'll take time to look at the report card for your club and your place in it. We look at the awards and the recognition. There are different leadership opportunities that exist. We already have on the call leadership positions that distinguished Toastmaster Anne-Marie and I have taken up. She's serving as the TLI chair. I'm serving as the program quality director in charge of education, contests, and all matters club quality in District 114. Then we'll have the renewals. Why should we renew? In order to keep our membership. We'll also look at the speech contests that we are staging this year. Then we'll wrap it up with the kind of member support and club expectations. Moving on to what are the benefits now that you've joined Toastmasters. And by the way, for those of us who are in the clubs that have been chartered this year, the likes of Mombasa, Babati Rolling Mills in Nairobi, the likes of Momentum, Bugolobi, Ames, and many others that are joining this call, a very warm welcome to District 114. What are some of the benefits that you stand to own as a member? And I like to look at it in terms of what we call the 3 I's. And the first I is introduce. We want you to feel warmly welcomed into the Toastmasters International family. Toastmasters as an organization was founded in 1924 in California in the United States of America. And it was put together by a particular gentleman called Dr. Ralph Smedley. He had just finished university and they began to meet at the YMCA. And they came together because each time they were asked to deliver a toast or to welcome somebody or speak in praise of an occasion or an organization, they realized that they were fumbling over it. And therefore they purposed to come together and to practice delivering the toast, where they would raise their glass and practice the toast. Over time, they mastered the toast and they became Toastmasters. And that's where the name Toastmasters came from. It has nothing to do with bread. Then, because they had just entered into the job market, they found themselves being invited for interviews. When they were employed, they would be asked to deliver presentations, and they didn't know how to go about it. So again, they came together and they began practicing how to conduct themselves in an interview, how to make sure that they are delivering their presentations properly. And therefore, they moved away from just delivering the toast to practicing different aspects of the everyday life in the marketplace and in the community. And that's how Toastmasters as an organization has developed to what it is today, an education experience. And we who join Toastmasters, we are educators, and we come to hone our soft skills. We already have the academic papers, a number of us. But when we are asked to stand and present, we realize our confidence levels are not as high as they need to be. We don't know how to make eye contact. We don't know how to speak and get to the point. When somebody puts a particular scenario, we do not know how to respond, even in a networking event. And those are the skills we've come to learn in Toastmasters. And we need you to feel warmly welcomed, because we want to foster a positive first impression. In addition to that, we are welcoming you into the Toastmasters family. You'll be introduced to your club officers and fellow club members. And in the process, you will feel at home. The other benefit is we want to be able to inform you. Who is Toastmasters? What are you expected to do? Why? When? How? And in the process, we reduce that feeling of isolation and uncertainty. Then we have a member survey form where we'll get you, for those of you who are yet to receive one, kindly make a note and ask your Vice President of Education or Vice President of Membership to share with you this particular form. And it's important as it enables you as a new member to write out your goals. And in the process, you may discover other goals that are on that particular document that you may want to work on. So do make a note if you don't already have the member survey form to ask your Vice President of Membership or your Vice President of Education, or if you're a Google fan like I am. Google is my friend, it's a search engine. Then you can Google Toastmasters member survey and it will give you the form. Then what we're going through today is an induction or an orientation session. We'll also be looking at the Toastmasters promise. What did we undertake to do? And that's part of informing you as the second I, some of the benefits that come to you as a member. And the last I is to inspire. We want you to be able to build a foundation where you'll continually participate and be committed to your personal growth as a leader. Adult learning is different. It's self-paced. You set a pace that you're comfortable with. But I keep reminding people, do not compete with the snail and the tortoise. They already have the first place position for being slow. So make sure you occupy the other positions that are available, where you maintain a pace, where you feel yourself growing, and also getting a good return on your membership investment. We have opportunity to take up different club meeting roles. And we have the Pathways Education Program, and we'll look at both in a moment. Then how about your commitment as you continually renew your membership? I've just mentioned I've been around since 2009. What about the leadership opportunities that are available for you? And there's something beautiful about learning how to lead in a volunteer organization. It stretches you in ways you can never imagine. And you'll discover things not just about the people you're leading, but about yourself. And some are shockers. But the opportunities for you to grow as an individual. You also have opportunity to participate in the speech contests, where you get to stretch beyond your club boundaries and battle it out with other club members from other areas, divisions, and even districts. And we'll talk about the structure of Toastmasters so that you get to understand what's all this district business and where do I fit in as a member. And in the process of learning all these things, you'll find yourself growing, increasing in your confidence levels, and confidence is something that none of us will ever have too much of, and you'll stick around. And because what you're learning is so good, you don't want to keep it to yourself, you'll find yourself inviting others to join Toastmasters. We have a tool that is called Moments of Truth. It's a quality tool that helps us to assess where are we in terms of the quality indicators. And this tool is so powerful, and I'm encouraging you that when your club begins to talk about it, you be very keen and learn the lessons and take them back to your organizations and your community and even your family, because they enable you to operate at a particular level of excellence. And specifically, one of the moments of truth, the second one, and moments of truth is abbreviated as MOT for moments of truth, is membership orientation. And what you're experiencing today is part of that orientation. And I'm hoping that when you go back to your clubs, your club leadership will complete the process for you, including, for those clubs that do so, gift you a pin or a ribbon. For both my clubs, that's Nairobi Toastmasters Club and the Hill Toastmasters Club, we gift new members a red ribbon from Toastmasters International. So depending on the practice of your club, I hope that they will complete the process for you if it hasn't already happened. The other thing that your club will do for you is they'll assign you a mentor. And this is somebody who will walk with you throughout your journey for as long as you agree on. There are people I've been mentoring for as long as I've been a member in that club, and others have subsequently joined. And with time, you find yourselves mentoring one another in what we call peer-to-peer mentoring, because everybody has something that is so special to offer. Then we have the education program. And we have the S in there because we don't just have pathways. We have a program called Speechcraft. We even have another one called the Youth Leadership Program. Then we have a recognition system that will be discussed, and we'll look at some of the recognition awards that are available during today's presentation. On that survey form that I talked about, you'll be able to see where are the gaps, which areas do you need to focus on as a leader. And together with your mentor, as you write out your goals, you can exchange your goals and hold one another accountable. It's a journey. And there are no lone rangers in Toastmasters. You walk together. And it's a beautiful, beautiful experience. For some of the clubs, you need to discuss accommodation for members with disabilities. And because we are learning by doing, and that's the Toastmasters experience. Remember, I talked about Dr. Al Smedley and his former college mates coming together at YMCA and practicing on each other. You'll be assigned speaking roles, and don't shy away when the Vice President of Education says that they've slotted you in for your icebreaker speech. Take it. You'll be afraid, feel the fear, and do it anyway. And then ensure that as a member, you're involved in all the aspects of your club activities. And I've already mentioned a few. See how you can participate, because we learn by doing, not by spectating. But I like likening the Toastmasters journey to a game of football. You never score any bleachers sitting under, any goal sitting under the bleachers. You have to be on that field handling the ball. And it's in the process you score goals as a team and you celebrate as a team. We have the Toastmasters promise. Has anybody seen the Toastmasters promise? Did you see it on your membership application form? The one that you completed to become a member in this particular, in the club you belong to. Have you seen the Toastmasters promise? Have you seen it? If you haven't, you may want to revisit your membership application form, and adjacent to where you appended your signature, saying that you want to be a Toastmaster member, the Toastmasters promise is sitting pretty right there. And there are 10 elements in the Toastmasters promise. We undertook as members to attend club meetings regularly. We also undertook as the second promise to prepare for all my projects to the best of my ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program. The third promise is to prepare for and fulfill the meeting assignments. The fourth promise is to provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations. And we'll be talking a little bit about evaluations in a moment. The fifth promise, and remember I mentioned that there are 10, is to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment that's necessary for all members to learn and grow. How about the sixth one? We undertook to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so. And I've seen a number of leaders who've come in who are holding a club officer role in the capacity of president, SAA, secretary, treasurer, one of the vice president roles, education, PR, or membership, or even the treasurer or secretary. Or you could be serving as the immediate past president. And then the seventh promise we undertook to keep is to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy. The eighth one is to bring guests to the club meetings so that they can see the benefits that Toastmasters membership offers. And guess what? Somebody invited you, or you saw it on one of our social media handles. So do reach out to somebody, tell them about Toastmasters, and invite them to be your guest at the next meeting. Then we also undertook to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters education and recognition programs, and we'll look at a few. And finally, we undertook to act within the Toastmasters core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities. And for those of us who've been longer, the way we remember the 4 core values is we came up with an acronym, RISE. R for respect, I for integrity, S for service, and E for excellence. The word RISE. But remember that integrity comes before respect. So the word is to help us know the 4 core values, but remember the order. Yes, it's RISE, but the I comes before R. There you have it, the 10 areas in the Toastmasters promise, and you already have them on the membership application form that you signed. And again, Google's your friend. Google Toastmasters promise, and they'll download them for you. Now that you've come to Toastmasters, what are your goals? And they need to be crystal clear. I usually make a statement. How will you know that you have arrived if you don't know where you're going? Write out those goals, have a destination, and track your progress. And remember to celebrate the milestones as you go along. With your mentor, with your fellow club members, and as you begin to visit other clubs with other Toastmasters within the district or beyond. Because once you become a member in one club, that's your home club. But guess what? You have access to over 14,000 other Toastmaster clubs globally. And you just need to show up and let them know, I'm a visiting Toastmaster from Kwanzaa, Kenya, if your name is Sheila. Isn't it, Sheila? And you get to enjoy networking with other Toastmasters, and you broaden your network because Toastmasters is international. So do take the time to complete the survey. It will guide you as you undertake the Toastmasters journey. And you may have come in a certain way, saying you want to improve just this skill, but keep yourself open and discover all the other things that you can learn. There is a lot to learn. Expose yourself to knowledge. And I keep saying that as leaders, because we've come to develop our leadership skills. Leaders read, and reading makes leaders. So do make a point to read widely. There are so many resources on the Toastmasters website. For each club meeting to run, we have certain club meeting rules. And each role is unique. It has certain responsibilities and skills that you will hone. And it's important that you know how to conduct the role. Know which leadership skills you will learn as you undertake that particular role, but you ensure that you learn those skills. And with time, you keep refining those skills. A number of us, depending on your club, you either have a manual sign sheet, or it's on the Google Drive, or on the website under the free host that Toastmasters offers us. Depending on how your club gets you to sign up for roles, sign up for roles. Do not miss the opportunity to learn. And the club meeting roles include being the Toastmaster, that's the MC, being the grammarian, keeping track of the King's language, being the accountant, who's looking out for a pause and crutch words, the pause fillers and the crutch words. How about being the timer or the timekeeper? Again, depending on whether you're speaking British English or American English, you'll either be the timer or the timekeeper. Then the topics master, who has lots of fun preparing questions and calling upon people, beginning with those who don't have a role. And you could be the lucky one who's picked upon as the table topic speaker to practice your impromptu speaking in what we call table topics. Or you may have stepped forward, feeling the fear and doing it anyway, and you'll be the speaker delivering a speech from your Pathways education program. Or you'll be the one having the distinct privilege of evaluating a speaker who has prepared a project from their Pathways program. Then we have the general evaluator who comments on each and every aspect of the club meeting. And I want us to delve just a little bit deeper into each of these roles. Beginning with the Toastmaster of the day, abbreviated TMOD. And we've got a lot of jargon in Toastmasters, and we need to be careful, especially when we are speaking around guests. Otherwise, they'll think we speak in coded language, isn't it? TMOD, who is that? It's the Toastmaster of the day. And they are, in effect, the master of ceremony. And they're in charge of the smooth running of that particular club meeting where they're the Toastmaster of the day. If you're a new member, we recommend that you wait a little bit and observe how this particular role is conducted, because you get to work with the whole team. You're coordinating all the other role takers, working very closely with the Vice President of Education. And to get more information on the Toastmaster of the Day, we have resources. A beautiful resource called A Toastmaster Wears Many Hats. And what that basically means is that you may find that you signed up to be the timer, for example. Then you discover the account is running late or has an emergency or even forgot. And you put up your hand, I will be the timer, and maybe another additional role. Or you'll be the grammarian and the accountant. What are you doing? You're wearing many hats. There's also another resource called Master Your Meetings. And because this is such a special role, we even have a script for it. And by the way, we have a script for each and every club meeting role because they're unique and special. And they have skills that we can continually hone. And when you're the Toastmaster of the day, you get to practice your ability to work with teams and plan an event. And the event here is your club meeting for a certain date. You need to run the meeting within the time allocated. So you learn time management skills. And because you're the master of ceremony, what are you doing? You're learning facilitation skills. You get to motivate not just the members you're working with for that particular meeting, but the entire audience, because you determine the level of energy that will be displayed in that particular meeting. And you get to learn how to work with teams and ensuring that you work together as a unified whole. That's the Toastmaster of the day, abbreviated TMOD, the master of ceremony. And what usually happens in a typical club meeting is the president or the presiding officer begins a meeting. And once they're done with what we call the club business, they'll introduce you as the Toastmaster of the day to take over the meeting. And you go in, if you have a theme, but well and good. If not, introduce your role takers and let us know what each of them is doing. And then you run the entire meeting based on the agenda that you worked with, or you worked on together with the Vice President of Education. The second meeting role that we'll look at is that of the grammarian. And you have the unique opportunity to track how people use the King's language during the meeting. And you'll be writing any phrases that you found that were unique, any good use and bad use of the language, and you also get to introduce the word of the day, which will be aligned if you already have a club meeting theme for that particular day. You'll have a theme, so try and get a word that aligns to that particular theme. And then you'll track how many people use the word of the day, and while at it, use it correctly. And if there are people who didn't use it correctly, point to it. And the thing to remember is when you are recognizing the good usage of the language, you call out the name. But when you are pointing out something that wasn't done correctly, then the phrase we use is, I heard this expression, or somebody said this. We do not put that individual on the spot, but we point to that incorrect usage of the English language. And when you're called upon, you will deliver your report on how grammar was used and how many people used the word of the day. And the resources that we have to help us with that role, again, the Toastmaster wears many hats. You come up with the word of the day, and there is a grammarian script and a log to help you track your role. One of the skills you get to practice here is active listening. You need to hear what everybody is saying, evaluate it. Was that good usage? Or does it need to be improved? Active listening is a skill that you hone each time you take on the grammarian role. You also work with the Toastmaster of the day, and therefore you're planning. You get to evaluate everybody's speaking, and you learn interpersonal communication. And because you will introduce the role and deliver a report, you have opportunity to practice your public speaking skills. That's the grammarian role. And the third role is the R counter. Note its R. I keep hearing some people saying aha counter, and I'm like, aha is laughter. It's the R counter. There is no A after the H. When you're the R counter, you will track what we call pause fillers and crutch words. Again, note it's crutch, not clutch. Clutch is for the car. The crutch is like a walking aid, which means you're supporting words that don't need to be supported. And so we went shopping. The so there is redundant. It's being used as a crutch. We went shopping. I've dropped the filler word. And this is an excellent role to start with. And guess what? You need to pay attention, because unknowingly people use pause fillers like and, so, repeated words like and, eh. Look out for those pause fillers and redundant words and draw attention to them. And when you're introducing the role, let the audience know that one of the ways to get rid of pause pause fillers is to pause. Why do we have pause fillers and crutch words? It's because we are trying to get our mind to catch up with our mouth. But if we just pause, it allows your mind to finish that thought process and communicate or relay the information to you. The use of crutch words or pause fillers. So for those who have not taken up a role yet, this is a good one, a nice place to start. And your resources are the Toastmaster wears many hats. We even have a mobile app, this track. Then we have the R counter script and the log. And because you'll be listening out to everybody's pause fillers and crutch words, you're practicing active listening. And you're evaluating everything everybody says. You're always alert. And then when you deliver your R counters report, you are providing feedback. It's a beautiful role, and it forces you to pay attention. So try it if you've not yet taken up the R counter role. How about the timer role or the timekeeper role, depending on whether you're speaking British English or American English? When you're the timer or the timekeeper, you track every meeting segment as per the agenda. Each segment has a specific time allocated. How well are we doing on time? Can you raise those cards, the green, yellow, and red, to signify time taken for each segment? If you hear the Toastmaster of the day is going on and on and on, raise the red card, let them know. You're now in the danger zone. We have a danger of running late for this particular meeting. Can you minimize your remarks as you transition from one segment to the next? Therefore, the timer plays a very important part in ensuring that the meeting starts and ends on time. Just by the way they're tracking time and giving an alert to the Toastmaster of the day, in addition to the speakers who participate during that meeting. And to help you, our beautiful resources, once again, the Toastmaster wears many hats. We have a mobile app. We have the time cards. We have the timer script and the log. This particular role will help you with your time management skills and organization skills. It forces you to be alert because you need to keep track with that stopwatch. And remember not to get carried away as you listen to the speeches. You are the timer, and people are relying on you to let them know for how long they spoke. And you have that unique opportunity to ensure that the meeting starts and ends on time. Ring the bell when it's time to call the meeting to order. Let the president know. 2 minutes to time, Mr. President or Madam President. Then you ring the bell, and that's their cue. Call the meeting to order. And you deliver your report at the end when called upon to do so. The other role is the topics master. You get the opportunity to craft the questions or the statements or scenarios that you will pose to different members during the club meeting when it's time for table topics. And make sure it's aligned to the theme of the day if you have one. And the secret is always to have fun table topics. And that allows very many people to want to participate. And that's, again, for this particular role, get to work times and see how it's done. And when it's your turn to do it, get somebody to mentor you for that role. It's a beautiful one as you are coming up with those questions and beginning with those who don't have a club meeting role. You're able to agree with the Toastmaster of the day, how many questions you can prepare for, but again, you keep within the time that has been allocated for the table topics segment. And table topics is nothing but impromptu speaking. And this is done by posing questions, scenarios, and calling upon somebody in the audience. And it's recommended that you first read the question and then you call upon somebody. Because you know what happens when you call the name first? The rest of us go to sleep. Oh, I've been saved this time. You don't even listen to the question. But when the question is called first and then you pick on somebody, everybody is forced to be alert. Then don't shy away from answering when you're called upon, which is where we're going next. Happens when you are the table topic speaker. You've been called upon and given the opportunity to respond to that impromptu question or scenario. By time, you can repeat the question and then ask your mind to cooperate. And the first idea that comes to your mind, take it. And there's a common way that we respond to table topics, and it has the acronym PREP, where you have a point, a reason, an example, and then you re-emphasize your point. PREP. Point, reason, example, point. Because a table topic response is a speech. It needs to have a structure, opening, body, conclusion. There is no right or wrong answer. And because you have the flow, have fun with it. If, for instance, you're not ready, you can say you're not ready, pass. But don't say it too many times because you'll never get to practice impromptu speaking. And it's such a powerful networking tool. So give it a try. Even if you don't get to the 2-minute mark, try and speak until you see the first flag, which is green in color, at the 1-minute mark. That's the minimum qualifying time for a table topic. So speak until you see the green flag. Allow your mind, the muscle, to begin to practice. And with time, it gets easier. Because your mind looks for a way to create things. It may be a personal experience or something that happened to somebody else. You can pull it, make it yours, and run with it. Or at times the question requires you to be innovative. You have landed on Mars. That's your more creative as you would like to be. Do take up the opportunity when you're called upon to be the table topic speaker. Teach your mind to think on your feet. And you'll notice that you will continue sense as you continually give yourself the opportunity to practice and speak within that designated time. What if you are a speaker with a prepared speech from Pathways? We recommend that you deliver the first project in Toastmasters called the Icebreaker Speech within 60 days of your membership. And this enables you to begin your journey immediately and begin honing those skills. And it also allows you to know the basic structure of a speech. Having the speech title, the introduction, the body, and the conclusion So that even as you listen to future speeches, that structure is in your mind as a foundation. And you'll be able to give your colleagues better feedback because you have the basics of a speech. So don't take too long for those on the call who are yet to deliver the icebreaker speech or the maiden speech. It's the first project and it's compulsory in all the paths, and we'll be looking at pathways shortly. And the resources here is your Toastmasters login credentials that enable you to go to Basecamp and to select your pathway in the Pathways Education Program. We have other resources like the public speaking tips. How do you use gestures, your body, as an effective tool because your body speaks? And there is a resource called Gestures, Your Body Speaks. Then we have the speaker introduction form. What's the correct way of introducing a speaker? You may write something down and say, you can use this for my introduction. And when you take on the role as a speaker, you've already begun your Toastmasters journey. You're learning how to prepare speeches. You're learning how to manage time, as each and every speech has got a certain allocated speech time. And you'll be practicing public speaking, one of the reasons that we joined Toastmasters. And you'll be on your way to honing your soft skills. You do take up the opportunity to speak, having prepared for your projects using the Pathways Basecamp program to enable you to get the most from each project, as there are different competencies that we learn from each project. What if you have the distinct privilege of evaluating a speaker's project or speech? You need to deliver what we call constructive feedback. Feedback that will help the speaker and the audience who are under the sound of your voice. And the feedback should be based on the project objectives. For example, in the icebreaker speech, you are introducing yourself to the audience, sharing certain aspects about yourself as an individual that you would want your audience to know, and getting familiar with the structure of a basic speech. The title, opening, body, and conclusion. Those are the objectives of an icebreaker speech. So don't deliver an inspiration speech unless it's about something you did. Talk about yourself. Talk about ourselves. So pick a few aspects on what you would like to share. And you can observe a few people delivering their speeches, and then you work on yours. And the resources here are a Toastmaster wears many hats and being an effective evaluator using the effective evaluation resource. And all these resources are available. Go to your search engine, whatever it is, and type a Toastmaster wears many hats, and it will give you the document as a PDF. The same thing for effective evaluation and all the other resources that we have covered. And when you are the evaluator, take notes. You'll need to comment on the speech title and how relevant it is to the particular project. You need to comment on the opening. Was it attention-getting? Did they state the purpose of the speech in the opening? How did they transition into the body? Are the materials in the body supporting the ideas in the opening? How did they transition to their conclusion? Did they have a call to action? Was it memorable? You're able to comment effectively if you were taking your short notes when the speaker was delivering the speech. But don't have your nose in the book all the time and ignore the speaker, because then you won't be able to see the gestures. effectively and their use of the stage. And comment on the objectives. How well did the speaker meet the project objectives? And which areas demonstrate that they met those objectives? In what we call the areas the speaker excelled at. Identify areas of improvement and always end on a positive note. And give the speaker things they can work on. Limit them to 2 or 3. And then off mic, you can give them other stuff or flesh out what you've already told them. Practice giving constructive feedback that is motivating. And for we in the audience listening to evaluation, be like, that is something I can practice in my own speech next time. You're not just delivering an evaluation for the speaker, it's also benefiting the audience. How about when you're the general evaluator and you're keeping track of everything that happens within that meeting? And you're able to comment on how each role was fulfilled, including what happened before the meeting and now specifically during the meeting. And because this role requires you to report on each and every aspect of the meeting, we recommend that you wait a little bit and watch other people take it on. And there is a script, the General Evaluator Checklist, that enables you come up with your report when you're serving as the General Evaluator, who is also called the Master Evaluator. And the resources here are the Toastmaster wears many hats, and you can see it's appearing everywhere. Effective evaluation, and as mentioned earlier, the General Evaluator Checklist. When you're the General Evaluator, you need to pay attention. How is each role being carried out? Are there elements of quality, especially from the moments of truth tool, that you have observed when you're serving as a general evaluator? Are there certain things that could have been done more effectively? Point them out. And note, because you're reporting over all the roles, you need to manage your time so that you can stick to it and give the audience value. And do not evaluate what has already been evaluated, because then you're being repetitive at the cost of time. And give an evaluation that will enable the club improve, especially if you've identified areas they need to work on. Depending on your club culture, there are 3 ways the GE will serve. They may be called upon to call upon the other role takers at the end to deliver their report. So you call what we call the tag team, the timer, the hour counter, and the grammarian. And then you will deliver your speech. Or the Toastmaster of the day may call all the reports and just call upon you to deliver your particular report. There is a 3rd way. When all the speeches are done and you vote for the better speaker, the Toastmaster of the day will call upon you to receive all the reports. And a speech evaluation is a report. So you may find that you're beginning to call the speech evaluators. Once they are done, you call the meeting role takers, the tag team, timer, hour counter, grammarian, and then you deliver your own general evaluator report or GE report or master evaluator report. Especially for those who will be visiting other clubs or already visiting other clubs, and you take up this role, find out what the practice is so that you're not caught unawares. And the skills you'll be practicing are critical thinking, organization, time management, motivating the team and giving constructive feedback, and team building. These are the common roles that we have during a club meeting. We do have additional roles like the hack master, where if the club has got some extra time, the hack master will call different members to answer questions related to what was in the club meeting, to see whether or not we were listening. And it's also called the listening post, hack master or listening post. You may also have a joke master. That's another role. So again, depending on your club, you may find you've got these additional roles. So don't wonder how come Maggie didn't talk about them. The ones I've covered are the standard ones that we have to run a club meeting. But I'm also recognizing that we have those additional roles. Your action. Reach out to your Vice President Education, VPE, Vice President Education, and schedule your club meeting roles. And guess what? With the Pathways enhancements that happened on 22nd of October 2025, we need to take up club meeting roles as part of our Pathways level completion. And you'll find you're not able to submit level completion if you've not taken up certain roles based on the requirement for each level. So do take time to familiarize yourself with the specific roles that you must fulfill for that particular level that you're working on. And we'll look at that in a little while. Any question or comment for the club meeting roles? And I hope you're all raring to go to take up the club meeting roles. Any question or comment on the club meeting roles?
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Aaron.
I hope you're doing well.
Yes, I am. Thank you. I hope you are too.
I am. I wanted to ask you, when you began so many years ago, was perhaps taking a role or beginning your first speech hard for you or difficult in a way?
Excellent question. When I began my journey, I was so eager, and especially when I got to find out that I'm able to take up the club meeting roles, because I didn't know about them. And I got to see the different skills that I'll be honing for each. And we had a scenario because we were the charter members, would have people dropping off. So for us, a Toastmaster wears many hats was a reality. You would find yourself double hatting. You're the air counter, you're the grammarian, you're the timer, you're the GE. And that enabled us to stretch, and we are still here, meaning we survived it.
Yeah, I click to see.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And then in terms of the speech, because the icebreaker speech was talking about some aspects of my life, I wanted to share that I'm a farmer's daughter. And I got to write it out. And once confirmed that the speech is now ready and can be presented, I delivered it before the club. And that became Toastmaster, delivering the icebreaker speech. Does that help, Aaron?
It gives me a certain idea of confidence and actually give a speech out there.
Yeah, you can. But the trick is write it down. That helps you organize your thoughts. And nowadays, the version of writing usually takes the form of typing, isn't it? Were you able to see the word count?
Oh, sorry, continue.
You're able to see the word count? because on average we speak 100 words per minute. And therefore, if the icebreaker speech, which is 4 to 6 minutes in length, then midway is 5 minutes. 5 times 100 is 500 words. So you use that as a rule of thumb to guide you on the number of words that you need to write for your icebreaker speech. If it's a 5 to 7 minute speech, midway is 6 minutes. 6 times 100 is 600 words, giving you a rule of thumb. How many words do I work with so that I'm not over time or under time?
Okay. So each speech should be within a certain amount of time, and you've
Yes.
said that a certain amount of words should be spoken or written
Yes.
for a okay.
And we'll be looking into that. We'll delve a little bit deeper in a short while.
Okay, thank you for answering my question.
Okay, Jane wants me to repeat on the number of words and minutes. On average, we speak 100 words per minute on average. And therefore, if your speech is 4 to 6 minutes in length, the mid time between 4 to 6 minutes is 5 minutes. 5 times 100 words is 500 words. So when you're preparing your icebreaker speech, type it out. That's what I keep calling write it out to help you organize your thoughts. And the word count guide is 500 words. And this ensures that by the time you are on the 4th minute and you see the green flag, you are able to pace yourself better, because on the 5th minute, you will see the yellow. And on the 6th minute, you'll see the red card, and you have 30 seconds to wind up and hand control of the meeting back to the Toastmaster of the day. Use word count to help you keep within time, and then work with the different color signals to help you in your speech. We've reached out to the VPE and we signed up for the roles. And now we are ready to talk about the Pathways Education Program, which is the Pathways Learning Experience. Toastmasters are educators, and our program is called Pathways. And there are 6 unique paths to help us achieve our goals. And when you signed up, you get the first path for free. But you need to select which path you want to begin from, the choice of 6. Then for subsequent paths, you can purchase those online from your own profile at $20 per path. The first path is free, but you need to select which of the 6 you want to begin with. Subsequent paths are available at $20 each, and you're able to purchase the same using your debit card or credit card from your own profile. There are different ways to select the path. There is the option to take an assessment where you answer certain questions and the system gives you or recommends the ones you can begin with. Or you go through all the 6 paths and then you make a choice. Each path has got 5 levels, and the number of projects vary between 4 and 5 per level. And we have a beautiful resource called the Navigator, which you can download, or it's also accessible once you access your Basecamp, and that's the official site of the Pathways Education Program, and we'll be looking at that. I talked about having a mentor to help you in your journey as a Toastmaster. And this particular mentor will guide you. And I encourage you to give yourself time. Most of us have 2 weeks in between club meetings. Therefore, don't send your mentor your speech the night before the club meeting. You will not benefit. They won't have time to read and give you feedback, and you won't have time to receive it and work on it. So schedule your speaking slot early with the Vice President of Education, and then deliberately work on your project. You're better off having it ready and wait for a speaking slot than preparing it the last minute. That way you're being fair to yourself and you'll get the most out of your mentor as there's time to do the back and forth on the feedback to ensure that you're meeting the objectives for each and every speech that you're getting ready to deliver. I want to cover the leadership opportunities and then we'll go into pathways. We kept talking about districts and all these positions, but what does it look like? Looking at the organizational chart for Toastmasters International, I did mention that it began in 1924, and Toastmasters International has a board of directors, and they exist to serve the most important person in the organization, the member. So we have the board of directors, and then they've put together a team of region advisors who oversee regions. And if I can take it from the top so that you see how it comes together, you and I have joined a club. We are members. And each club has what we call charter strength, 20 members for it to be chartered. Then at least 4 clubs, when they come together, they form an area. At least 4 clubs, when they come together, form an area. At least 4 areas, when they come together, they form a division. So the division has got 4 areas, and the area already has 4 clubs, so 4 times 4 is a division, has a minimum of 16 clubs. Then the divisions come together to form what we call a district. And we kept saying we're in District 114. What's magical about 114? That's the next number that was available in Toastmasters International when we were ready as East Africa to become a district. And District 114, which covers East Africa, currently covers 7 countries. These are Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Ethiopia, Burundi, Djibouti. And very soon, we'll have the Indian Ocean islands joining us. That's why I said currently we have these many countries or regions. And very soon we'll be admitting Madagascar and Mauritius into D114. And the other island countries or islands as we continue to charter Toastmaster clubs in those regions. I know we're working very hard to charter a club in South Sudan, even as we speak right now. And that's how you continue to grow your district, by going into those territories where we don't have Toastmaster clubs and starting one. And then it's the districts that come together and form regions. We are currently in Region 11, which covers Africa and the Middle East. And all the regions come together and they report to the board of directors at Toastmasters International. So you're a member, you belong to a club that belongs to an area, a division, a district, you're part of a region, and we are all served by the board of directors of Toastmasters International. And the most important person in this hierarchy is you and me, the member. That's how we are set up in Toastmasters. And that's where you feature as a Toastmaster. And then depending on the opportunities you take up, all these are leadership opportunities for us. Even being a board of directors member, they are leadership opportunities. We have members on this call that are serving at this level, the club leadership level. I have seen some area directors come in. They're division directors. Some of us, like I'm serving as a district leader in my capacity as a program quality director. And I'm working with the region 11 advisor. And we have the board of directors to support us. And here are the roles that are available. And you gain the experience that each role offers you when you take it up. You can be club president, the vice president education, vice president membership, vice president public relations, the secretary, the treasurer, the sergeant at arms. Or you could, after you've served in the club leadership level, move on to the next level of leadership, the area and division level. You can serve as an area director or a member of the area director team. Or you can serve as the division director or a member of the division directors team. Or you can stretch even further and serve at the district level, where you can serve as the district director. And this is a position in the trio. And this year, our district director is Distinguished Toastmaster Demolish. And I'm serving as the program quality director. We have a club growth director. We have a PR manager. We have an admin manager. As mentioned, we do have a regional advisor and the international director who sits on the board of directors. And we do have a CEO, Daniel Rex. These are leadership opportunities for us. And my question for you is, how many of these roles, as you continue in your Toastmasters journey, will you take up to grow in your leadership skills? And nothing grows you like serving in a volunteer organization. It has its ups and downs, but overall you grow, as is the case each time you step out of your comfort zone. I want us to look at pathways, and I just need us to manage our time. We can look at renewals, and then I finish in pathways so I don't have to come back here. Let's look at the club membership renewals. We pay Toastmasters dues 2 times, and the renewal cycles are March and September. And we need to renew in order to have our membership in good standing so that we can access pathways. If you're a new member, you pay a one-time member fee, and I forgot to change this. It needs to be $25. And then we pay $60 every 6 months or $120 every year, plus the club running fees. But guess what? When you're a new member, you only get to pay what we call the prorated portion of the membership period that is left to the next renewal cycle of March or September. If you join in October or April, pay $60. If you join after the month of October has expired, pay the October membership. That's why we are calling it prorated. You will pay November, December, January, February, March to finish that cycle. If you came in May, you pay May, June, July, August, September, and note you're paying $50. You will not pay the $10 for the period that has expired. I hope that makes sense. If you join in December or June, you don't pay for October and November for the December period or April, May for the June period. You'll pay $40. So all the way to if you're joining in March, you'll find you will not pay for the period that has expired, just the pro rata unutilized period to the next renewal cycle of either March or September, and you'll get to pay $10. But note, because it's renewal season, you need to pay this one to budget mentally and know you're paying the October and the April, depending on which period we are talking about. So you may find your treasurer telling you, by the time you're paying March, we are also renewing, so be ready with 60. That's how come it will come to play that way, that you're not just paying for the month of March and September, the $10, but it's renewal season because it's March and September, and they'll tell you you need to pay the 60 as well. Information is power. And you're only paying, once again, the prorated period to the next renewal cycle of either March or September. And depending on your club, if you're a corporate, you may find you have a free venue. Both my clubs, we meet at clubs, United Kenya Club and Nairobi Club. We have club running fees as we need to pay United Kenya Club and we need to pay Nairobi Club. And we also like awarding members with those ribbons that I talked about earlier, and we'll look at them shortly. So we pay a little more in what we're calling the club running fees. In addition to the recurring $60 for 6 months, or if your club pays an annual membership like we do at the Hill, it's $120 plus the club running fees. It is renewal season. Do renew your membership, as we'll be having the renewal or our membership expiring on 31st of March. So if you've not renewed, begin to work toward that to ensure that you do not interrupt your Pathways experience. We have speech contests, and I mentioned this briefly. And this year, we're running the International Speech Contest, the Evaluation Contest, the Table Topics Contest, and the Humorous Speech Contest. And there is a specific manual called the Speech Contest Rule Book. And it has the period 2025-2026 because every year Toastmasters releases the specific rules that will apply to the speech contest for that year. Again, Google is my friend, and I hope it will be your friend to Google the Speech Contest Rulebook 2025-2026. See more about this contest, but more importantly, it's area level contest season. We've already held the club contests at club level, I think with the exception of very few clubs. For the rest of us, we're already at the area level, the next level of contest, because all the contests start from club level. Then the winners advance to area. The winners at area advance to division. The winners at division advance to district. And there is one speech, the International Speech Contest, that goes beyond the district to the region, semifinals, and ultimately the world champion stage. So do take time to learn more about the speech contest, but I wanted to mention them for you to know that there are other ways we learn and grow, not just from Pathways, though we are applying the skills we're learning in Pathways as we contest in each speech category. And there are lots of fun. So whenever you hear that an area has a speech contest, as many of us as can make it, do plan to attend. And that goes for all the levels of the speech contest categories that we will conduct in District 114. Before we get to the question and answer, I want us to go into Pathways. And I'm hoping that everybody on the call has had opportunity to log in to their pathway, and especially those who are in clubs that are newly chartered, and even those who have joined recently as members. Did you receive your email from Toastmasters International giving you the login credentials to your Toastmasters profile? When the screen loads, where it says, welcome, Margaret, right now, we usually have the word login. And using the credentials that you got from the Toastmasters welcome email, you will set your new password. And once you click on login, it will enable you to access your profile as a member, and thereafter it will welcome you with your first name. I want to draw attention to this little triangle right here. When you make your mouse hover over it, it gives you three options: my home, my profile, and log out. Each time you're having fun navigating the pathways or any aspect of the resources on the website, and you don't know how to get back to where you began your journey, my advice to you is find this little triangle and go home. Click on my home is a nice way to find you. If you find that you're lost as you're busy navigating, as there are so many resources that are available to us on this website. And you may discover as you're busy reading an article in the magazine, you remember you needed to go and log in your role as timer or a counter or whatever it may be, and you now don't know how to go to Basecamp. So just come here and click on my home. It will load this screen. And it will tell you, where can we take you today by your first name. You get to see how long you've been a member. See, I talked about having joined in 2009. There is the evidence. And then we've got different tiles. Go to Basecamp. There's the Learning Hub, where we've got many education resources in one place. You have the Achievement Board, and this are all the awards that you have won as you go through the different education programs or even take up roles. Then if you're an officer, be it a club leader or a district leader, you'll have Leadership Central. If you're a club leader, it will read District Club Central right here. If you're a district leader like I am, you'll have access to District Central. You'll get to learn about the club officer roles, and there's a tutorial on it. And very soon, in the first meeting in May 2026, our clubs will be holding club officer elections as we seek to elect the leaders that will guide and lead our club from 1st of July 2026 all the way to 30th of June 2027. The meeting roles that I talked about, we have the tool sitting right here. We can see the air counter, timer, and more. When you click on that tile, you get to see the scripts that I was talking about. We do have resources here, monthly articles that are posted, wonderful resources for you and I. Then we have the distinguished performance reports. And this is where we see how we are doing as a club by tracking the different education goals, membership goals, training goals for the club officers, and the admin role, how we are renewing our membership, and how we are filing the club officer list for the next period, and then how to submit your membership dues, especially if your club has enabled self-pay. We want to go to Basecamp, and it's right here. And you can access it from here, or you can access it from education programs. Two places where you're able to access your program, your Pathways Learning Program. If I click on this tile, depending on your internet speed, the screen will load. And it's such an inviting website. Welcome to Basecamp, Margaret. Again, you feel welcome. And you get to pick on your paths and learning. You get to see your achievements if you have any. And because I have the flow, I think I have bragging rights. I can show you some of my achievements. I'm currently working on the dynamic leadership path. I've finished level 1 in that particular path. I need to work on level 2, 3, 4, and 5. As I complete them, then you can see that the icon is sharp. It's not like the grayed in ones that we can see here. I have completed the visionary communication path. I did level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and therefore you're able to see that as an achievement. I've also completed presentation mastery. I've completed the leadership development path. I've also completed the team collaboration path. And there's a special path that shows up when we finish level 2. It's a free one. Remember I talked about once you get the first path free of charge, subsequent ones are at $20. This is a free one, and it only shows up when you complete level 2. So you need to look out for it so that you don't miss it. Then you get to see what kind of speeches you delivered and how you log them into the system and the club that you give the goals to. I mentioned I belong to 2 clubs, so there are some of my projects I've given to Nairobi Toastmasters Club and some to the Hill. So depending on how you're progressing in your pathway, you're able to come right here under achievements and celebrate. Then we have the feedback and the resources, and these are just resources to help us in our journey as Toastmasters. But I want us to concentrate on paths and learning this evening. Once you select your path, it will come and sit right here. But if you've not selected a path, you will not have anything here. How then do you select a path? And you can see that we have the learning dashboard right there, and your name appears there. There's a little triangle there, and you're able to go back to Toastmasters home, and it will load the first screen, which is this one. If you click on education program, the other place that I said will be able to access Basecamp, you can access it from here or that other place that I was showing you. And for those who have not selected a path, have you noted what I have done? I have clicked on education programs. It loaded this screen. And during my earlier presentation, I talked about education programs. We have pathways, we have speechcraft and youth programs. You get to hear a little bit more about this as you progress in your Toastmasters journey. For example, yesterday evening, and I can see some people who are on this call who attended the speechcraft session that I hosted yesterday. And we got to learn how that is carried out. But today our interest is pathways. If you are yet to select your path, click on education programs. Then scroll all the way down until you see choose a path. And we have 6 engaging options. Click on choose a path. And depending on your internet speeds, it will load the next screen, which is right here. And it says choose a path. Select your preference. We begin with the language. I recommend fluent in the others. And then how would you like to select your learning path? Remember, I talked about taking an assessment and it helps you decide which path based on the answers you give in the assessment, or you can view all the paths. There's a little box in there, and once you click on it, you'll activate it. You view all the paths available and then you make your selection. And you click continue. And again, based on your internet speeds, it will load the next screen. You have the paths right here, presentation mastery, where you're building your skills as an accomplished public speaker. You have engaging humor if you want to incorporate laughter within your presentations, especially if you are a coach or a trainer and you want to ensure you have more engaging sessions. This is a nice path. Or you want to take on the path on motivational strategies, on emotional intelligence and team building, and how to practice motivation and leadership, then that's a path you can consider. How about persuasive influence for those of us whose primary role is marketing or selling? That's a path for you. Visionary communication is another path that's available. And the one that I'm currently working on, if you already have selected a path, will appear at the bottom. That's how come dynamic leadership is not appearing in this blank spot, because I already selected it. For each of these paths, you can click on it to learn more about it. Learn more about the presentation mastery path, which is right here, and you click on that hyperlink. Do you want to view all projects in this path? Okay. Depending on your internet speeds, it will load that particular screen. Is it doing something? View all projects in this path. Click on the hyperlink. There it is. Then it gives you the paths, the levels, and the electives that are available. And it will let us know that when you take on level 1, then we are mastering the fundamentals. And the projects are the icebreaker speech, writing a speech with a purpose, introduction to vocal variety and body language, and evaluation and feedback. Level 2, you're learning your style. Understand your communication style, how you use your body as an effective tool. And another compulsory project is Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. The projects in level 1 and Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring are compulsory. They appear in each of the 6 paths. But for the others, depending on your area of specialization, the projects vary accordingly. After you're done mastering fundamentals and learning your style, in level 3, we are increasing in knowledge based on your chosen path. And we also have electives. You're supposed to do the main project, And then we have electives, and you choose 2. After the pathways enhancement, we also need to pick a tip session from the education series, and I'll talk about that either today or tomorrow. So we'll cover it tomorrow. Then in level 4, you're building skills. And the main project depends on your path. And we have some elective projects. You pick one, but you also need to undertake 2 education series projects. Then when you're in level 5, you've mastered fundamentals, you've learned your style, you've increased in knowledge, you've built on your skills, you're now demonstrating expertise. And we also have some electives there. You pick one. In addition to this one, you also have projects from the education series that you need to take up. And I must mention, in addition to completing the levels, the club meeting roles that we looked at earlier, for each level, there is a requirement that you fulfill certain club meeting roles, which means you need to know which ones apply and undertake them. And we'll be going into Basecamp shortly, and you'll be able to see where that happens. So there you have it, the 5 levels in each path. And other than the compulsory level 1 and the introduction to Toastmasters mentoring project, you'll find that the others vary depending on the path that you have chosen. Once you decide on the path that you want to take on, then you will select it and go through the process of completing it. It may look like it's going to charge you, but the value at the end will remain 0. So do not hesitate, continue in the process until you complete it based on your preference. So if, for example, I was to pick, carry on presentation mastery, let's say engaging in humor, it gives you the option to continue. So continue with this process of putting that particular path in your cart, like the Nakumat or the Kafu Park or Mat cart, and the value will be 0 because the first path is 3. And then once you're done selecting it and it gets you to the place where you're completing, after a few hours or by the following day, that path will come and sit in your pathway. And you'll be able to access it from Basecamp, either from education programs or from here. And because I'd clicked there earlier, let me go to education program and access it from here. And when I click on that, based on your speeds, it will load the screen I was showing you earlier. Parts and learning, I've already showed you the achievements I have, and I displayed the 2 parts that are active. I'm currently in progress on the dynamic leadership path. And because I'm serving as a district leader, I also have the club building initiative curriculum as an additional learning for me. If you click on the tile that has dynamic leadership, based on your internet speeds, it will now load your program for that particular path. And once it does, you'll be able to see the overview of that particular path and the projects you need to undertake. And I don't know whether your Basecamp will behave like mine when I need it to go quickly so that I can show you what's next. That's when it decides it's thinking. And if you click on the arrow, the little arrow down there under level 1, it will display for you the level 1 projects. As you complete the different projects, it will put a tick against each of those projects. Then there is level 2, and you get to appreciate the projects that are there. Then we have level 3. We have level 4. We have level 5. And then you go through the process of completing the path. I want to click on the first project. Or let's look at mastering the fundamentals, and we see what we need to do. And the level 1 requirements, it will tell you what you need to do. And by giving you the resources that it lists for you, it's guiding you on the things you need to undertake. I talked about the different club meeting roles, and you have a PDF on them right here. If you're serving as the timer, here is the timer scripted log that I mentioned earlier. Then there's a tutorial on how to evaluate. If you're serving as the hour counter to catch our pause fillers and crutch words, the script and that log is right there, and you're able to click on them and they'll download as PDFs. And it tells you that the requirements is that there are 4 projects that form the base of your Toastmasters journey. And this is for mastering fundamentals. You have the icebreaker speech, writing a speech with a purpose, introduction to vocal variety and body language. Then we have this speech on evaluation and feedback. Even though it's seated there as a single item, it comes in 3 parts. You deliver the first speech on any topic, and it's a 5 to 7 minute speech. You receive feedback, and then you need to demonstrate that you can implement the feedback. So you'll take the feedback from your speech evaluator, incorporate it, and deliver that speech again at another club meeting. The second speech in the evaluation and feedback. Now that you've demonstrated that you can receive feedback and apply it, can you serve as a speech evaluator? That's the third part of the evaluation and feedback speech. So yes, they appear as 4 projects, but in reality, it's 4, it's these 3 plus these 2, 5 projects and serving as an evaluator. Then you'll be done with the speech segment. Then you need to serve as a table topics speaker. You need to speak in order to deliver those projects. You need to be an evaluator. And then you need to select one option from either timer or hour counter. Once you complete all these requirements, you're done with level 1. And you're able to go through the process of completing your level 1 project. As in this place, I'd sit down to come to mastering fundamentals, and you have the icebreaker speech. And to get to the icebreaker speech, you just click on it. Where is mine? I need to wait for it to load. There it is, the icebreaker speech. And that's how you access the icebreaker speech. And in tomorrow's session, we'll navigate how resource. Download the project, which is all the multiple screens that we shall scroll through tomorrow. And you even have an icebreaker speech outline worksheet. Once you download those, then you just click on next. And now we are navigating pathways, and this is an exercise for tomorrow. But I just wanted you to appreciate that you can select a path and you can come to Paths and Learning and appreciate the levels that are there, and then begin your journey in pathways by embarking on the icebreaker speech, and you'll get to hear more about this tomorrow. I'll take any questions or comments before I hand control to our TLI chair.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Bridget.
My name is Toastmaster Bridget of Asaha Bilingual Club.
Yes.
Now, just a quick one. At what point do I start getting charged for the club pathways? Because I went online and I was charged on the first attempt to check for the pathways, so I'm not sure how to go over that.
Excellent for bringing that out so that I can emphasize on it again. You will go through the process of putting your project in a cart. Remember, I was talking about having a cart in the supermarket, but the value will be $0. So the charge will be $0. Complete the process and make sure it's reading 0. Does that help? Complete the process. The value at the end of the checkout counter will be 0. So it will look like you're being charged, but the value is 0. And I wanted our Pathways champion, distinguished Toastmaster Nick, to verbalize his comment on the chart, and then we'll hear from Samantha.
Yes, DTM Maggie. Which comment in specific?
The one that you've posted a few minutes ago.
Okay. Let me check. I think it is the question from Samantha.
Yes.
Yes. So Samantha asked, let me turn on my video.
Yes.
Good Toastmasters practice. Yes.
Yes.
So Samantha asked, please clarify about the first pathway being free when you join. Is that after you pay the USD 60 plus USD 25 or other club fees? And what I've responded is Toastmasters, the dues that are related to Toastmasters are the $60, which is the renewal dues for 6 months, and the new member fee for $25. Once that is paid, then you get access to your free path. The club fees does not relate with Toastmasters. That's why we find some clubs have club fees, others do not. It is purely under the discretion of the club, which is under the direction of the exco, but ultimately the members are the ones who decide the direction that things are going. And if the club decides there is a fee that they need to charge to cater for expenses, then that is that club. That's why each club has its own dues, and you might find things are different. For Toastmasters, it's only the $60 and the $25. I hope that is clear for Samantha.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I'd
you.
like to hand over control of the session to Anne-Marie to handle the remaining segment for any question or comments that we may have. Over to you, our TLI Chair, Distinguished Toastmaster, Anne-Marie.
Thank you very much, DTM Maggie. Let's just appreciate her in the best way we can. Since we are online, that means it's reaction buttons. I need to see more reactions. Just to add on to the question that was asked earlier about someone being charged at the beginning, I realized that sometimes when we log into the Toastmaster website the first time, if you notice, it recommends a particular pathway. So you need to be sharp. Without knowing, you could choose a pathway, which would mean the next time you decide to change your pathway, they charge you for the second pathway. So it's to check your platform to make sure that you haven't already chosen a pathway, because sometimes we choose them by mistake. I just thought I would say that before I continue. DTM Nicholas, please go ahead.
Thank you, TLI Chair Anne Maria. Apologies for the interruption, but there are two questions which I was not able to quickly type the answers in the chat. And one of them is from Dorcas. What if you did your icebreaker before accessing Basecamp? Will it count? So it is a yes and no answer. It only counts if the VP knows that you did it. So it's important for you as you're doing your speeches to communicate with your Vice President of Education. Once he knows, and if he's in the know, when you get access to Basecamp, just fill it in like you already did it. And there's a part where you'll be able to log in the details of the date and the title of your speech. I think that is as simple as that. Joyce has asked, how do you log in the additional roles after completing a level? This we will show you tomorrow. We'll have a live demonstration. So kindly show up also for tomorrow's session. If not possible, show up for Saturday's session. Then you'll be shown how to do it. Then I think maybe you can help us with how do we get the recording for this meeting from Dolores.
Okay.
Back to you, Anne.
Okay. Okay. I believe all questions are answered apart from the one of the recording. Great. And then, oh yes, I saw Nicholas still answered the one, can you do more than 2 electives? Toastmasters recognizes the 2, but I usually do all the electives because it's good information. Who doesn't want to know how to write a blog and podcast and YouTube channel and social media presence, because each of them has lots of options. So usually I try everything and then choose the one I am giving a speech about, because there are 2 that for level 3, there are 2 that will be where you give speeches, but I usually go through everything on the website is mine. As long as it's free, we use it, and before we buy the next pathway. Great. Beth, you have a question. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, DTM Margaret, for that session. Mine is a quick one. How much would the second pathway cost?
I'm waiting for DTM Maggie because when I bought mine, it was $20. So I'm waiting for
$20.
yeah.
$20.
It's still $20. I didn't know.
$20.
I
Yes.
bought mine a year ago, so it was $20. Okay, great. Rogers, please go ahead.
Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hello, Rogers.
Oh, thank you for the educative session that we've had with Maggie. So my question is, do you incur additional charges for being a member of multiple clubs, like the case of Maggie?
Yes, you pay membership for each club where you hold membership. The only thing you don't pay again is the new member fee. It's a one-off. That $25 is a one-off, but you will pay membership for each of the clubs where you hold membership. Back to you, TLI Chair.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for coming for the session today. Let's log in tomorrow so that we see the practical on how to use to navigate the website, and especially Basecamp. If you're on this call, I saw some leaders here. I saw the president of Luvoa. I don't know if he's still on the call. I was very excited when I saw him log in. If we have some calls, some leaders on the call, we will, and also the president of Kampala Sunrise. As you can tell which country I'm coming from because of the clubs, the presidents I know. But I can also see someone from Tanzania. I'm trying to remember the name of the club. Yes, it's great to see each of you. So tomorrow, oh, I can also see the president of Kampala South. Exciting stuff. Tomorrow, we will do the hands-on experience. How do you navigate Basecamp? For the leaders on the call, there's your Basecamp managers. You just do not access your own Basecamp, but you're able to see the back end of the rest of us, what we are doing. So we'll cover all that tomorrow. And I'd like to invite you to come in tomorrow so that we're able, I can see Area Director Rose is on the call, so that we are able to do that. If you're not able to come tomorrow, we are doing the session we did today and the one we'll do tomorrow on Saturday. So Saturday will be longer, meaning if there are people in your club that were not able to make it, please encourage them to show up on Saturday. I realize that the ability to use Basecamp well, the ability to use the to understand and appreciate the Toastmasters website makes your journey so much easier. People are always shocked the number of projects I'm taking on, because Toastmasters also has other free projects that are not necessarily under Pathways. So if you know how to use the website, you just discover new things, and it's very helpful. Should you attend today and tomorrow? If you attend today and tomorrow, you do not need to attend Saturday. It will be the same exact thing. The difference is Saturday is longer because we'll do both Thursday and Friday. So let's come tomorrow, and then let's invite our members. They could do half of tomorrow and then half of Saturday. Oh, full tomorrow and then half of Saturday. But let's learn together so that really your money also makes sense and you use it well. So thank you. If I have put my number in the chat, in case, because all of us are not in one place, that's why I can't say I will send the recording to this one place, but you can just send me a message and I can share the recording with you, probably after we are done with all the trainings instead of just this one. Otherwise, have a great evening. Also, that number means that if you have a question and things like that, even if I don't have the answer, I probably know someone who does. Or I can Google like DTM Maggie and help. Yes, thank you so much for showing up. Have a great night. I like Dorcas. Dorcas really laughs. I hope it's laughing in real life, not just the reaction. Because I also like laughing. Have a great night, everyone, and see you tomorrow. Goodbye. We don't want to leave. That's good to know. Okay.